Hi everyone, it's Denise from Divine Soul Astrology. Today we're going to talk about the North and the South nodes transit. So the North node is now in Pisces and the South node is in Virgo. And so what we have here is an axis, a bit of an opposition between the nodes of fate. The North node is about the future. It's about where we are striving to go, where we are wanting to go. And the South node is what we are learning from or leaving behind. The South node relates to the past and sometimes the lessons of the past. So the North Node transit with Pisces is going to be there for a year and a half, and then the nodes will move into Aquarius and Leo. So the great thing about this nodal transit really is that, Pisces can represent transcendence. Pisces is the 12th house of closure. So whatever needs to be closed out for sure will be done, will be done because the South Node is also leaving something behind so we can strive toward the North Node. And this nodal axis change really explains the idea of physical health and psychological health or emotional health. So with the North Node in Pisces, we're moving toward our psychological health. And so this can talk about many things, but Virgo is the sixth house, represents the sixth house of health as well. But this is physical health. So, this it can be kind of, helping us to heal whatever ails our mind, sort of, or our emotions, right? And that is helping us to move into this energy. And so the other thing that we need to mention here is that Pisces and Virgo are both mutable signs. So this is a really adaptive sign where change is doable. It feels easier, right? It's more adaptive. And when we are moving toward the North Node, we're always moving toward our higher self and what is really meaningful to us. The nodes are really the lunar nodes, right? And these are of the moon. And the sun and the moon really are the most important celestial bodies in the universe. And so in the solar system. So here we have, let's talk about Aries. And Aries, the North Node is going to be in your 12th house. And so this means the South Node is directly across in your 6th house. So, the meaning of this access, the 6th house is the house of work, the house of health. And once again, this is the Virgo. This is, and yours is in Virgo. You're the only one who has the natural chart because we start right here with, where are you, Aries? You are right over here. So here is the beginning of the natural chart. And so they have it set up as on the day, this was on the day of the lunar change, we had uh, the rising sign or the ascendant was really in Leo. But here we have the first sign. That's not really, it's not very important for what we are, for the kind of summary of the North Node and the South Node transit. No, it's not. But here you are, and you start here, and then we go along the natural chart. So Virgo's over here, and you have the South Node here. So you're leaving something behind that could be physical. Maybe it felt heavy, possibly, Aries. But this can be about your health, your work, your pets, even, and your daily life. It can also talk about what maybe you kind of were overanalyzing. Maybe you're just leaving behind some type of, like your personality, that where you were maybe just you wanted things to be perfect, because Virgo is the perfectionist, right? And which is always good. We need things to be done right, but sometimes can be overdone, right? So with the South Node there, it can talk about it's time to leave something behind, possibly where there's too much thought involved. There's too much wanting to be perfect, possibly. Control, really, it can talk about control. It can also talk about leaving, not wanting to serve, leaving behind this major service where, everybody calls you, everybody, on the block and in your family and, over at work too. They're all calling you to, lend them their truck, or your truck rather, or you do something for them. They could always be having you at their beck and call. So we have the North Node, which is what you're moving toward, Aries. And so for you, this is in your 12th house. So this is definitely you're closing things out, as I was saying. You could be maybe moving toward a little bit more of a free flow. Pisces is more of a free flow. It's more of trusting your intuition and kind of really going with the flow. It's a water sign. So maybe you are doing that in your life because Virgo tends to be a little bit more methodical, and it has to be this way, whereas Pisces lacks boundaries. Yeah, Pisces is it's a water sign, and they are of the ocean where there are no boundaries really. Uh, and so yeah, and so this could be definitely you could be moving more into creative, possibly a creative kind of mode, or maybe more compassion too. But let's look at where your Mars is. Here's your planet Aries, and Mars is in your it's in your fourth house of home and family. Excuse me. And so, yeah, it's in Cancer, and Cancer is about the past and the family. It is. It's also about your emotional support system. So if you have Mars here, this could be you kind of defending yourself a little bit just in life, basically, because Mars doesn't really like to be in Cancer. Mars is it's a fire. This is the planet of war, right? This is Mars. Mars is about new beginnings, and Cancer can be about the past. So here we have kind of an opposition right there. But here you are in this right here, and let's see what's going on with Mars there. It's a very supportive energy because we have a trine from your fourth house right here. Here's the trine, and here is the triangle that is, symbolic of the trine, and that makes things easier. Sometimes it can reflect your innate abilities. It can, it can support that, but it's something that is kind of easy for you because trines happen all in the same element. Here is the Mars, here's Mars, and here is over here. Let me move that a little bit. Over here we see we see Pisces. It's another water sign. So here is the trine. So you're going to have a lot of courage here, or power possibly too, to really move towards your fate, Aries, whatever that is for you, right? And shape shifting your future. You could be really doing that, and your free will is honored with this trine. All right, and then Mars is in Cancer. It's about, right? As I said, it's about it can be about the family. It can be about your physical address sometimes, the fourth house, Cancer, and this is a very supportive energy. With your emotional support system as well. Yeah. So this can be your physical address where I said, but what I said earlier, but this is really good for you, Aries, and good luck. And we'll see you in the next one. Excuse me. Let's look at Taurus. And Taurus, the nodal change is in your 11th and your fifth houses. All right. So the 11th house is the house of future. So here you are, Taurus, and here is Pisces in your 11th house. And and so this is about the future. Very interesting because Pisces represents closure and ending. So definitely you're closing something out that relates to your fifth house down here. And so yeah, and so let's see. So your this 11th house for you is going to be about gains or social networks, friendships. This can have to do with uh it can really have to do with you wanting kind of to free yourself as well, Taurus. It's a possibility here because that is what the 11th house is. It's about freedom and liberation. It can be about instability, but not in this way. No, I don't know, because here we have the North Node is where we are striving to go. Nobody's really striving for instability. I don't believe we are. At least not knowingly, right? And and so yeah, and what you're leaving behind, Taurus, is down here in your fifth, is right, sorry, you guys, right here where the South Node is, in your fifth house, and this represents creativity, parents and children, your family, of course. It can represent your own self-expression. Yeah, I feel like what you're doing here, Taurus, is kind of, you could be changing your values, right? You could be, maybe you just don't kind of value the same things, like that. Your ideas about things might be different, but definitely you're leaving behind something here that has to do with the fifth house. Sometimes it explains ego. But this can be about your leadership, as the 11th house can talk about leadership or how you are leading your life. But this is definitely about right here, you are definitely looking into striving to go into a new chapter in your life, and this is going to affect you for the next year and a half. You could be really feeling it right now. Let's have a look, and here also is, and this can be about love too, not just family, but I think I mentioned that, like romantic love. It could be, and so here, right, we have Venus, and let's look at Venus. Venus is here. And Venus likes being in Pisces. That is your ruling planet, Taurus. And the nodal transit can bring you good luck in love because Venus is here. This can bring you good luck for the future. This is very good with Venus here. Yeah, whoop. And so let's change that. Oh, I beg your pardon, you guys. And let's make it a bigger screen. Sorry about that. Oh, I just wanted to. Okay, let's open this now. Okay, there we are. Sorry, you guys. So, yeah, and this can bring you good luck, Taurus, with your creative endeavors here. And also, what's going on here, you could also be the fifth house over here. What you're leaving behind is associated with art and with self-expression. But with your recreational activities, your sports, your entertainment, maybe you don't like the same type of things, recreational activities as well, which can be important because it really means kind of that we are changing as we evolve. So good luck, and you're headed in a good place, Taurus. Let's talk about Gemini now. And Gemini, here you are, right? And you do represent the third house, but this is happening for you, Gemini, in your 10th and your fourth houses. So let's look at that axis right now. That is a very important axis, not access, axis, which talks about your home and your inner life, your personal life, and versus your social life or your ambitions, your authority, your career, perhaps, as opposed to the fourth house could be family, home, and family. So that's a big deal, that axis. It is an angular axis, and let's look at it. So here you are, Gemini, and so this is between your social world, as I said. And also right down here, the south node is showing up, and let's see where it is. It's in your fourth house, as I said, right? Yeah. And but it's in your fourth house of home and family. You're leaving something behind. It could simply be because the fourth house also represents the past. So you could really be leaving behind kind of old wounds. It's possible, right? Because Virgo does talk about health as well, and it is in Virgo. You could be leaving behind past wounds, maybe even where you were too kind of maybe just giving too much of yourself, possibly. Virgo can talk about that. And so, yeah, you're leaving something behind. You could be moving big time. It could be, a huge move, or maybe you don't want to live in the same type of places, or you just want to live somewhere new, possibly. But the fourth house right there, you could also be really leaving behind um, something that is just related to the past that you've wanted to let go of. It might have to do with health. It possible. It could have to do with health as well. It can also have to do with work. Virgo represents work. And yeah, and so the 10th house also represents up here. Pisces is your 10th house. Yeah, Neptune rules your 10th house. But, um, this can be about your ambition kind of out in the world, your authority, your leadership, whereas this can be about employees, but this can be work as well. Virgo is about work. So there could be something you're leaving something behind in order to evolve, or you're just evolving, right? And so that is the change is taking place. Yeah, and so let's see where your planet is, Mercury, and where is Mercury at the time. So this is important to know that the nodal change is going to be for another year and a half, right? But it did start January 11th, but we are still completely relevant here. And yeah, we have a long time for the nodes, right? And a lot of times people feel this very gradually. Yeah, and that's change never, it doesn't come overnight, right? So let's look here. And I have Mercury, your ruling planet, is in the eighth house. Here's Mercury, and this is your eighth house. And this is the house of other people's money, power, fears, doubts, secrets, and sexual charisma. It's the house of the taboo as well. That's a very interesting. It's about intimate relationships. It is. It's also in sextile with Neptune. So here is Mercury right here. It kind of looks like the little student, because Gemini, you do represent, learning, right? It looks like he has a little hat on here. And so here, it is sextiling. Here's the sextile with a little asterisk, or we like to call it a star in astrology, right? We're not in the office, right? And so, here's Mercury and sextiling, giving you an opportunity with Neptune. And so, yeah, this is going to be an opportunity to merge your idea of beauty and intelligence, Gemini. It can be about how you choose your relationships or how you create more abundance for yourself. And it looks like your self-esteem is higher. You could be better able to cast aside doubts and fears with this eighth house, and Neptune is helping you, because here's the eighth house, that sometimes, is relevant to doubts and fears. But it looks like your self-esteem is higher or has improved, I should say. And so you could be better able to kind of deal with your life, your daily life, just in a better way, right? Because here we have the South Node here in Virgo, which really kind of explains that. And so, yeah, and this is going to be, where is Virgo, the South Node? Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, we were talking about your 10th and your fourth house is really a lot about work. And you might feel it's possible you felt unappreciated here, possibly, Gemini. You could have, that you just want to leave, maybe at home, maybe at work. It depends, or how the family kind of works, or how you structure your family life or your home life with your work. But this is you definitely, Gemini, evolving. So let's go ahead and talk about Cancer. And so for Cancer, the nodal transit is in your ninth and your third houses. So let's have a look at that. And and so your third house here, where are you, Cancer? You're right here. Your third house is right here. You're leaving something behind with regard to, this is really the natural chart. This is kind of a Gemini Sagittarius axis, but they're both about learning, although they are, very different. So here we see the South Node in your third house. Uh, mm-hmm. And you could be seeking growth and expansion and leaving behind certain fears or beliefs that no longer serve you. Yeah, definitely here, because this could be goals too. Maybe you're leaving behind old goals, Cancer. Yeah, because the third house represents goals and willpower, anything of the mind. You could be becoming more spiritual, definitely, because here is the ninth house is also a spiritual house, and it is in Pisces. Your ninth house is ruled by Neptune. So, yeah, very cool. And so here you are leaving something behind. And your self-esteem can also improve now. And I feel like you understand that, or it is, right? Your own evolution can feel very, very meaningful right now. It may feel mystical or spiritual. Your beliefs about life itself can change during this transit, and your willpower is increased. You're thinking big about life, Cancer, because the ninth house is, of expansion, right? It is. And so it's about expansion and growth. And here we have it kind of flavored here by Pisces. Yeah, and so you may be less interested in doing things perfectly and engaging more compassionately, perhaps with yourself. Creativity may be improved. Yeah, it definitely could be. The moon at the time of the nodal change, the moon is your ruling planet. This is what we say, right? At the time of the nodal change was in Gemini, on the 11th of Gemini, and squaring the south node. So here's the moon, and this chart is based on the 11th. Here's the moon, and here is the square to the south node. Did I say to the north node? No, squaring the south node. Yeah, the moon was in your 12th house of closure. Here's your 12th house, just the right, and this is one. Here's your first house, here's Cancer, and here's the last, and this is the 12th. So the moon here, this talks about something emotional that you need to leave behind, definitely based on the past, with the moon squaring the south node. And there's some type of closure. There's a tension cancer that is being created here. Uh, yeah, and or there is closure you that is creating tension. In essence, putting some type of emotional pressure to move ahead and beyond something that is related to your past. All right, so let's talk about Leo now. And Leo, the Pisces, Virgo, nodal axis is in your eighth and your second houses. So here you are, Leo. Where are you? Right here. You kind of look like the North Node a little bit. You need just a little, you need the little circle here. You do. Here's the North Node here. Interesting because you represent the sun and this represents the moon, right? Yeah, very interesting how they look similar. But here we have Leo, and this is in your second house. So you're leaving behind something related to, it could be your beliefs, uh, it could be your values, it could be how you earn your money. You might want to earn your money in a different way. So this is a money house right here, and so is the eighth house over here. So this eighth house here, you could be striving to maybe kind of build money with other people. The eighth house represents other people's monies, like it can, stocks and things like that, or real estate investments. It can just be the money that you share with your partner, and also even the money that you earn. So that is what the second house also represents down here. And so, in the past year and a half, you might have experienced issues regarding your personal autonomy, right here, your values and, your personal autonomy and daily obligations versus your intimate life. Because here, this is daily obligations, and here is your intimate life over here in the eighth house. So, at the time of the transit, and there could be a connection to whatever was weighing you down in your personal life and your psychological health. You could have felt this is really bringing me down. hmm There might have been a heaviness around that, and I feel like you are looking to free yourself, yeah, in some way here. All right. At the time of the transit, Leo, the sun, your ruling planet, is in your sixth house. So here is the sun in your sixth house, ruled by Saturn here. Yeah, your sixth house is ruled by Saturn. And so, yeah, and this is in your sixth house of daily obligation, work, and health. And so this is, bringing you clarity too. Yeah, about these matters, anything related to that house. It can be your responsibilities, right? So we have a trine as well, Leo, and this trine is making things easier for you to deal with. And where is the trine at? It is, uh, mhm. Let's see, making things easier for you to deal with change and to move into the future with more clarity, more freedom. Also, the sun was conjunct right here. Here is the sun, conjunct with Pluto. This is a hidden, a hidden conjunction. They're building forces there. They're allied forces, Pluto and the Sun. It's hidden because Pluto has already moved into Aquarius here. But this is major transformation, and this is letting you see what's really important for you, Leo, and what you really want to change for yourself. This is about the truth. This is about looking at yourself. And Pluto is in the seventh house of relationships. So you might understand here that you kind of want to maybe revamp your relationships or how you kind of are dealing with others, right? They may be business relationships too, because of the second and the eighth house axis. All right. So, yeah, but you're going to be able to move into the future with more clarity and more freedom. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Virgo now. And the transit will be important for you, Virgo, because the South Node is in Virgo, right? So the South Node is in your first house. So you're changing with this transit for sure, because it is in your first house of self. You might have really gone through rebirth, Virgo. You really could have. And, we have also the South Node trining Pluto. Yeah, we do. And so in your first house. So this is definitely about transformation. It's making it easier for you to transform. You could really be going through kind of a huge rebirth, right? You might and leaving behind things that no longer serve you, or you're far more mature, or you see life in a whole new way. But this is definitely changing and evolving. And so, yeah, and you're moving toward a different way of relating or being in relationships. All right. So, because we have the first and the fourth houses for you, here's the seventh, rather. Here's the first house, and here is your seventh house in Pisces. And so this is the house of relationships. So whatever you're doing, you could be like, you could be changing where you kind of want your relationships to flow better. It definitely could be, because this is where you are striving. So let's go ahead and mhm. Let's go ahead and um, go back to the other screen. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger here. Okay, there we go. So Mercury, your planet. Let's see what else I have here for you, though. You could have also felt, Virgo, a spiritual change, right? An awakening. All the signs can be experiencing that right now, for sure. And you might be approaching partnerships, as I said, in a much different way, possibly more compassionately, or maybe going with the flow. Maybe you were trying to control something about your relationships or the way you approach them. Because Pisces is live and let live, and it's very compassionate and going with the flow and creative and kind of dreamy. So you could definitely be doing that. You may even want more mystery in your relationships, because Pisces does represent mystery. All right, and so this is a major evolution for you, Virgo, and your psychological health is improving by learning something about yourself. Isn't that cool? So this is like your self-esteem as well, right, with your psychological health. That is improving because you're leaving something behind down here about yourself. Yeah. And so Mercury, your ruling planet, Virgo, is in your fifth house of love. Let's look at Mercury. Here he is. He's like the little student, right? And because he got the little kind of hat on there. But Mercury is in your fifth house of love, self-expression, rather. So this is really good for you too, right? So this is saying here, this evolution, you're being like assisted here, because this is the house of self-expression, and that is what you are seeking to honestly seeking. That is where you are evolving about with your self-expression and with your maturity and your self-esteem, your psychological health. You look like you're looking at things in a very smart way. That's how this looks, Virgo. But Mercury is in your fifth house right here, ruling your house of love, romantic love, right? Family, recreational interests, and leadership. This is also the house of fun. Yeah, we have to always put that out there. Leo is the house of fun because of the recreational activities, the entertainment. A lot of Leos are, Leos are entertainers, or a lot of entertainers are Leo. And so, yeah, and so this is about your fun. You might you could honestly be like, just feeling like I need to have fun. So here we have Mercury, and it is sextiling Neptune, I believe. No, Venus. Let's have a look at that. And yeah. And so, yeah, the moon also. But see right here, we have this. This is about being smart in love as well. And this here, it's about being smart and creative in love and compassionate and caring. When we have Mercury sextiling, there's an opportunity for you to be that way more so in your relationships. So let's close this, and let's go back here. And the moon at the time of the nodal, the moon was opposing Mercury. So here's the moon, and here, where's the opposition at? It's here. Yeah, it's right here, and we see it going straight across here to the moon. It was really the moon that was opposing that. And so, yeah, this can be linked. And this is putting tension between your thoughts and your emotions. Kind of, a mind heart kind of struggle a little bit, but this can be linked to fatherhood as well. So this is good for you, Virgo. I feel like it is. So thank you. And let's move toward Libra. Let's see what we have for Libra. My sister's a Libra. All right. And this is happening in your sixth and your 12th houses. Yeah, those are interesting. And so here you are, Libra, and where's your sixth house? Right here. So this is where you are striving, right? You're going towards your sixth house. It could be like more organization possibly, or your daily life, you want to restructure it, or you want it to flow better possibly. You want it to work for you possibly. And this is where you are moving toward. What you're leaving behind, let's have a look at that. And the South Node. Yeah, and this is also about your health and your work. You could really kind of be focused on that for the next year and a half, your health and your work and possibly your daily life and how that works for you. And so your lifestyle could be changing with that being said, and maybe the way you approach your responsibilities as well. And you might be giving up control or wanting things, or kind of maybe less wanting things to be like perfect, and maybe swapping that out for more creativity, more compassion, being perhaps less over analytical about how your daily life should go, or maybe even about work. It could be your health as well. Your ruling planet Venus is in Pisces with the North Node. That's what we're talking about here. Excuse me. And Venus is there. I beg your pardon, you guys. Venus is right here in your sixth house. That is your ruling planet, right? And so Venus in the sixth house brings more authentic self-expression, perhaps in how you manage your health or how you approach your work. Yeah, it's more authentic because this is your planet as well. And it is about self-expression, Venus. It's also allied with Saturn, allowing you more balance in your relationships and your money affairs with more idealism and pragmatism. Pragmatism. Yeah, there we go. You're letting go of control, Libra, and creating more harmony for yourself. And that's very beautiful. Let's move on to Scorpio. And this is in your fifth and 11th houses, Scorpio. Where are you? And here you are, right? And so, and your fifth house is here, and this is where you are striving. Okay, so you're moving toward more authentic self-expression as well because the fifth house is about self-expression, as is Venus. I feel like Venus is because it's about creativity as well, and that it can have to do with self-expression and self-care. And so here we have for you, though, the North Node is in your fifth house. All right, so you're moving toward, yeah, and your ruling planet, Pluto, Scorpio, is in your fourth house of family. All right, so where's Pluto? It's right here, right here in Aquarius. And so, yeah, and your beliefs about love could be changing dramatically over the next year and a half. It's definitely possible, Scorpio. And so your ruling planet is in your fourth house of home and family. This can be your address too. Your idea of home and family might be completely different now. You could be transforming maybe possibly your emotional support system. Like you could be stronger, definitely getting stronger here. Scorpio does represent power. It does. And it does also represent sorry, you guys. It does also represent, I forgot to turn off notifications. Yeah, and so, and so let's go ahead and do that real quick here. Okay, let's move on, you guys. And so I had enough trouble with the Zoom this morning, right? So let's see what else we have. But your beliefs about love and family could change dramatically. You could be choosing, Scorpio, what supports you emotionally. That could be really important for you. In order to move into a new future, because that's what your North Node talks about. And the North Node is in another water sign for you, so that's great, right? Because it just is. It's very supportive. And so the South Node in Virgo, right down here, is nudging you which is in your, what house is that in here? We have Scorpio, that's in your 11th house of the future. Yeah. So you definitely are leaving things behind right here. I beg your pardon. You're leaving things behind here that no longer serve you. They could be past wounds. Sometimes these are related to past lives. Yeah, they can be that we don't know we're kind of, carrying around. You can get a past life reading with me as well. Very powerful and freeing they are. But excuse me, you guys. So Virgo's there. Yeah, and you look like you are definitely nudging you to leave behind lifestyle choices or obligations that hinder your own uniqueness and freedom, because this is where you're going. The 11th house is about your freedom, your liberation, your own self-expression as well, your uniqueness. And that's what you are seeking to do. And so it looks like you're trusting the flow of life. Mars is your ancient ruler right here. Is in your ninth house of philosophy, higher realms, travel, and faraway cultures and learning. This could be really spiritual for you, mystical Scorpio, because you are a water sign already. The eighth house of this is about intuition as well. It's about the occult. It's about things that are real, but they are invisible, right? So here we see in Pisces, this is a water sign. This is also about intuition and mysticism. Cancer is as well. It's another water sign. It for sure is, especially, with the moon and, but also, yeah, your ninth house. This is in Pisces, but it's in the ninth. Is this the ninth house for you? No, it's not the ninth house. It's in your 11th. I beg your pardon. So here is your, uh, where are we here? That is your ninth house. Mars is in your ninth house. Yeah, beg your pardon. Mars is in your ninth house right here, Scorpio, and then we move here to you right here. But this is helping you really. It really is. And let's look at that transit that's happening with that. Uh, mhm. Yeah, your ancient rulers in your ninth house of philosophy, spirituality, higher realms, and travel, faraway cultures and learning. So you might have felt the transition, with this transition, this change, the nodal change, you might have felt that you've learned something, but possibly the hard way. Pluto can talk about the truth, and we have the sun here in a hidden conjunction. The sun is about clarity and Pluto is about the truth. So you might have learned something that was kind of hard for you. You could have. And so here's Mars that we were talking about, is trining the North Node. So here's Mars, and here's the North Node, and here's the trine with the triangle, right? So this is making it easier for you to use your power. It is to reach for what's really excuse me, meaningful for you for the future. This is giving you more drive and more courage, Scorpio. All right, so good luck with that. And you are definitely seeking some type of freedom because this is your 11th house with the North Node. All right, so let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this transit is in your fourth house of family. Where are you, Sagittarius? Here you are, little arrow. All right, so here's your fourth house of family and foundation, the past, and your emotional support system. So this can be about where you live as well, but your physical address, the fourth house, but you're able to leave fears behind and behave with more self-nurturing. That's how it appears here. Yeah, very cool. You're becoming more compassionate and even spiritual, in case, for some of you guys who, you're not, even though the ninth house, you do rule the ninth house of spirituality. And this is what you're striving to do. Yeah, you are striving, it looks like, to more self-nurturing, self-compassion, compassion for others too, but also to leave behind like doubts and fears. It does look that way. So the South Node is in your 10th house of ambition. Let's look at the South Node. This is your 10th house. Yes, it is. And this is about your authority, your ambition in the world. It can be about your father. And this is, it's in one of your social, this is your social house, and over here, the fourth house for you, Sagittarius, is your family or your inner life, right? So there's some type of balance that you are kind of dealing with here for sure, with this transit. And so the South Node is in your 10th house, and right? And so here, this is what you're leaving behind. It can have something to do with the way you kind of approach leadership. You could just be like, I'm not worried about like leading or maybe becoming, so successful. Or it's possible here you're just kind of going with the flow because here's Pisces and that's where the North Node sits. Yeah, and self-nurturing definitely could be with this fourth house placement. So down here, Sagittarius, the South Node. Yeah, it's associated with how you are seen in the world as well. So here's the 10th house. This could be like you don't want to be seen the way that you were being seen, right? Maybe you have changed your work or changed something about yourself. you could have, with the South Node there, you could be reinventing yourself, right? And you might want people to kind of respect you, maybe in a different way. That's a possibility, or see you in a different light. The South Node in Virgo, too, you might have learned a lot about your work or your health. Yeah, however that, and it could maybe related to your, it could be related to your psychological health, and you are learning it maybe via this physical way. It's a possibility because we do learn, we learn both ways, we do, vice versa. And your approach to life on a daily basis may be different, Sagittarius. You may be less pragmatic within your work and believing more in your emotional flow. This may feel more personal, yet more uplifting, mystical, and intuitive. Yeah, it's very cool. So your Jupiter is here, and Jupiter is your ruling planet, is in your seventh house of relationships. So Jupiter here is about you expanding your relationships, right? Personal, it can be about growth. It can be about also not only your relationships, but how you relate in the world, possibly, and how you want to grow and expand, um, and also find what's meaningful possibly in relationships here. But Jupiter here, Gemini is for me, it's a success sign. It's of the intellect, right? And so now we have Sagittarius over here, or we have Jupiter here. So this is like learning. You've learned a lot here, and you are growing and expanding. I believe you are. I feel like you're also approaching relationships in a different way, since Jupiter, it's possible, has, moved into Gemini last May or last June. Yeah, and Jupiter here is squaring Saturn here. So here's Saturn. So when we have a square, we have tension between these two planets and these two houses, basically. And so, yeah, Jupiter's in your seventh house of relationships, squaring Saturn and Venus. There's some type of, it's putting pressure on you to act with more self-care, creating more harmony and balance personally and with your relationships too, to really feel your life has more meaning and that it is flowing or going in the right direction. And that, of course, you are growing and evolving yourself. All right, let's move on now to Capricorn. Capricorn, this transit is happening in your third and your ninth houses. So where are you, Capricorn? Here you are. And here you are. The third house is the North Node. The third house is related to Gemini and the mind. It definitely is. Um, all right, let's see. And this is relates to your willpower, your goals, your decision, communication, and the intellect. It's anything about the mind with Gemini. It can talk about documents, podcasting. I mean, it's pretty long, but it is about the intellect, the mind, and the mind. Yeah, it's also about your siblings, the third house, extended family, and learning. You might be getting along or kind of, evolving relationships with siblings. That definitely could be going on. It's joined forces, and Saturn. Where is Saturn here? Mm-hmm. Your third house. So it's joined forces with Neptune. Here's Saturn right here. Uh, and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, of course. So this is allowing you to improve your relationships with siblings. As I said, yeah. And the South Node is what you're leaving behind. It's in another Earth sign, Capricorn, and in the natural sixth house. So let's have a look at that, the South Node. So here it is. Uh, that cannot be in your sixth house. Oh, it's in Virgo, which is the natural sixth house. All right, but this for you is in your ninth house. And so here is the South Node. So basically, what you're leaving behind has to do with your ninth house of spirituality, things that are meaningful. You might have learned from this. It can talk about travel as well, and uh, and learning, but higher realms, things like that. Any type of learning, really higher education. And it talks about expansion because Sagittarius rules the ninth house. But here's Virgo, adding its own flavor there. So, and so now we have, yeah, you're looking at something in your daily existence, right here, your ninth house, your daily life, and approaching it with more ease, Capricorn, more flow and compassion. You could have learned something about your health here, And maybe you need to kind of go with the flow up here, whatever that is, right? Whatever your flow is that is related to your health, because this is the axis of health. It is. And so you could be loosening up control or the need to have things like so perfect, or maybe be on such a tight schedule because Virgo does rule schedules. Yeah, it does. And you might not want things to be so perfect. You could, be feeling, hey, I'm doing a great job. And that's good enough. Yeah, it definitely is, right? But you might want things to be more meaningful, but different. Yeah, it's possible. You're also allowing yourself to be more creative with your thoughts and your goals. All right, Capricorn, we'll see you in the next one. So let's talk about Aquarius. Aquarius, this is happening in your second and your eighth houses. So these are money houses. So here you are, Aquarius, right here, the little electrical glyph here. This is your second house. This is where you are going. So the second house is about your values. Maybe your values have changed, right? And the second house is it is a house of abundance, resources, and money. And here you're leaving something behind back here, down here, in your eighth house. So let's see. And the eighth house can be about fears and loss. But it's also about personal power here. So I feel like that you have learned something here. Um, it could be, yeah, you've learned something that is it's personal to you, or it's personal how you kind of lead your life. You're leaving some type of loss behind, moving away from doubts and fears. And this is really good. So Uranus, your ruling planet, is over here. Where's Uranus at? Right here. It's in the fourth house of family and emotional foundation. So there's change already been going on for you, either with regard to family or the past, or your emotional support system, and how you manage that, or yeah, like that. But and so Uranus. There's some instability there, right here. There's instability in the fourth house for you. It's been there for a while. It has. Uranus has been there a long time. And the nodes are going to be assisting you in the next year and a half. Yes, they are. We have a trine here with Uranus and at the time, and the sun. And so the sun is in your 12th house of closure. So you know what needs to end here, and you know what needs to end for yourself. You might really be seeking freedom, or for not instability. We don't really seek that, but you might be seeking some type of liberation here. And at the time of the nodal change, the sun trines Uranus. I did mention that, and this is supporting your drive. Yeah, and so this is about power too, the sun. It's showing you what needs to change perhaps, right? With this trine with Uranus, because Uranus is about change. It's also about your planet rules, unexpected changes and surprises and things like that. All right. Okay, let's go to Pisces now. And Pisces, this is really big for you because this is a Pisces axis transit. I mean, Virgo transit. Yeah, it is, or an axis, right? Yeah. And so here, the North Node is in your first house. This is for you. This is really great. And even your ruling planet is here in conjunct, kind of, in cahoots here, right, with the North Node. And so this is really helping you to honestly be a better version of yourself. This is how this is, and this is what you may be striving to do. You could be like, you could want that for yourself. This is where you're going, right? The North Node, this is where we are striving to go or wanting to go. But it might be a little easier for you here with Neptune supporting this. So let's have a look at this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is not faithful. We're talking about fate and destiny, guidance. Yeah, this is very cool for you. This is a fated time in your life, and they really all are, but we can feel it more at some times, right? We definitely can. And the North Node to me is a little bit like shape shifting because we have opportunities within our natal chart, but we also have free will, right? We have fate and destiny, and we have free will. So there's always been, talks about that since the beginning of time, or since the beginning of astrology, maybe, right? But this is definitely kind of going there. This is fated. It's a fated change. It is. And so you're feeling guided to change and move toward your true self, Pisces. This is a really good one. Neptune is helping you leave something behind related to your seventh house of relationships. Yeah, it can be about how you relate to others, because this is in your first and your seventh houses. I believe it is. Let's have you. This is your first, where you're going. Yeah, this is true. So you're leaving something behind in how you relate to other people. I always have to check you guys because I like to do that. And so yeah, and so here, the south node, you're leaving something behind regarding how you relate to others or your relationships itself. You might have been too hard on yourself and you're realizing that. It's possible with Virgo ruling your seventh house. And so this can be about how you relate to others or your role in any relationship. And it can have to do with how you create more harmony and balance within, because, we have this axis, kind of this pull between relationships and yourself, right? And so you might be being less critical. You simply could be less over analytical. You're seeing yourself more focused and taking care of yourself, Pisces, rather than serving others. That's a really good thing, because it's interesting with Virgo and Pisces, they both want to be of service. Um, but you're just really going with your flow here. So you're taking care of yourself. That's what you're doing here. And you may really see that too. You might really understand that, oh yeah, I've changed a little bit, and or I'm changing, and I'm paying more attention to my own happiness, my own peace, and my own kind of tranquility, or health perhaps. All right. And you could also be leaving behind kind of health routines, or something like that. And maybe you go to a new gym now, or you're just doing yoga before you were running. It can have to do with that here. Actually, with the seventh house, no, Virgo, I'm looking at Virgo, but it is in Virgo. So it can have to do with that as well. Yeah, because we're talking about, not only is this the first and the seventh house access or opposition, right? Opposing each other. We're also talking about the houses, right? And how they affect you. And you're also, I feel like you are moving away from people who don't maybe appreciate you or accept you for truly who you are. Definitely. Jupiter, your ancient ruler, is right here, and that is in your fourth house of family, but it's also in your house of emotional support, right? Yeah, it is. And so, Jupiter is kind of Jupiter could be making you feel kind of enthusiastic about your kind of emotional support system, and how to build it, how to increase it, right? Can talk about self-esteem as well. And so at the time, yeah, it's there in your house of family, foundation, and emotional support. But at the time of the transit, we also see here, this is your ruling planet, Jupiter. We also see, Pisces, uh, Jupiter is both squaring Venus and Saturn in your first house. So there's some type of, you're going to feel some tension with this transit. It may be temporary. It may be for the next year and a half. It could, which can be, a little daunting. But hey, don't worry about things. Yeah, try not to worry. Worry doesn't do anything but take you off your game, right? hmm But everything you're doing here, Pisces, in this evolution here is really good for you. It's good for your evolution, but it's also, of course, it's good for you reaching your true potential and feeling really good about your life. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining me here. If you want a reading, you can always get a chart or, reading, and you can look below in the description box. I do past life readings, psychic readings as well. I'm a psychic. Thanks so much, you guys. Please hit that little bell in order to receive all my notifications. Thanks so much.